As I stumble my way through flashbacks and experiences I've had with reading and writing, one particular memory seems to linger itself in front of me. It was one of the most frustrating moments in my life, and it all took place in the 4th grade at Hominy Valley Elementary. Fourth grade is renowned for the writing test. It is part of the EOG taken at the end of the year. All year long, students have writing prompts forced down their throats daily and are demanded to put their composition skills to the test. Fourth grade is the first time students are tested on their creative writing skills, and unlike my classmates who groaned when it was even mentioned, I was eager to take the infamous writing test by the horns. The creative stories were my favorite because my imagination seemed to burst with ideas. I was good at it. I felt like I was a special kind of writer because before I even began writing, I knew exactly how the story was going to end. Creative writing became a hobby of mine, and doing it in the classroom was like recess to me. My teacher passed out the first practice writing prompt of the year, and as my classmates read it, I began to see agony upon their faces as the lines on their paper taunted them. I couldn't understand why my classmates hated writing so much. The lines on my paper smiled at me as I began to fill up the white spaces. After I had completed 5 practice writing tests, my confidence started to shrivel and I began to lose interest in writing. After each test, my teacher would pick a few papers that she thought were really good and read them aloud to the class. Each time she did this, I held my breath because I just knew that my paper would be the next one on top of the stack, but my moment never came. My papers would always be returned to me, looking like she had used them for a red finger painting. My teacher had bundled up my joy and enthusiasm for writing and smashed it into a brick wall. Apparently, there was a right and wrong way to conduct creative writing, and I let my teacher terminate my joy for creative writing. I remember the day of the test plain and clear. You may now open your test booklets to page 2, read the prompt carefully, and begin writing. That's what my teacher had first said. I had been fretfully awaiting those words for 7 months now. I did just as my teacher had directed and began reading the prompt. Even though I felt successful and satisfied on what I had managed to write, I knew it still wouldn't be good enough. But after a long and impatient month, my teacher finally announced that she had received the class's test scores. I had actually received a 3.5 on my final writing test grade. I was half of a point away from having a perfect score. I was filled with so much excitement, and I was amazed that I had done that well. I am a freshman in college now, and I still catch myself thinking about my 4th grade forget-me-not. It's not on my list of favorite encounters. However, it is in bold, highlighted, and underlined on my list of best learning experiences. I didn't realize the valuable lesson I learned from that occurrence until several years later. That rocky road I had treaded came with a tool that I used for the rest of my writing career. I found middle school and high school to be stocked with writing assignments, and because of my 4th grade teacher, I had become a better writer. Even though she didn't directly teach me how to improve my writing, through her confrontations, she taught me to teach myself to be critical of what I wrote. I now welcome criticism from my teachers and use their input wisely instead of letting it frustrate me. I also learned that I should never give up on something that I love. I am now my own worst critic and my own best friend when it comes to writing. Because of my self-transition, my papers are no longer flooded with red ink, but instead simply marked with green.